All right, hey guys, welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. I'm your host, Jason Lee, joined by my friend and co-host, Zeke Smith.
What's up, man?
Always here to keep me in check. And Mr. David Avila Jr., the director of San Jacinto Museum and the Battlefield right down the street. David, thank you for joining us today. And we were just saying before the show, I was like, this is a pretty cool show. Very unique in its nature because first time coming on, but also just a chance for us to kind of touch up on the history of this great region. I think all the time we're talking about growth and where we're going and the opportunities and all the things that exist here in this little neck of the woods. It's easy to forget about where we came from and what happened and what's right down the street from us from a historical perspective. And we just kind of, it's just easy to take those things for granted. Kind of like the flag. Sometimes we just look at the flag and go, oh, cool, it's the American flag. And we forget like what it represents. It's the same thing as that Texas flag when we honor it, right? We all memorize the pledges, but sometimes it's great to pause. So we're going to take a 20-minute pause today, right? To reflect on just the kind of great things that are right down the street from us and let you share a little bit about that. So as we dive in, talk to us first of all a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, who you are, your history, and then let's dive into what you guys do over there at the San Jac Museum and Battlefield.
Okay. Well, born and raised right here in the area, born in Pasadena, went to school in LaPorte, and actually live in Deer Park now. So I've always been in the area, family the same, my parents. Started with the San Jacinto Museum of History back in 1998. Been out there, and I was with the association for 25 years. Back a couple of years ago when the Texas Historical Commission came on site, I was made a state employee, still doing the same job that I was before, director of museum operations. I enjoy every single minute of it, getting to meet the people, the visitors that come in and are interested in Texas history, getting to share stories with them. But not only them, the individuals who really don't have an understanding of exactly the significance of the site, and giving them that aha moment and just seeing their eyes light up and wanting to learn a little bit more of not only the site itself, but the other revolutionary sites that were the timeline, the time frame that went through to here to San Jacinto.
Yeah. As you were speaking, I was just thinking of how amazing it is that God puts people on this earth who have a passion and heart for the things that they do, because if there weren't people like yourself who were focused on the preservation of these critical things, it blows my mind that here you are, really just born in the area, raised in the area, and then you land in a place where you can be for such a long period of time.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. You're doing what you love and being your calling.
Exactly.
How cool is that?
And we were discussing earlier about visiting the site and being a rite of passage. I'm sure we all have those photographs of spending time out there at the site.
Absolutely.
I
had Steve Cavaricci's on.
That is a
timestamp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of those shirts there. Those were
absolutely
awesome. But being able to share that with everyone is just amazing. Again, every single day that I get the chance to go into work, you never know what to expect. Also,
right?
Yeah. One day you might just think it's just our normal visitors, and then we get someone like Congressman Babin who gives us a call and says, "Hey, I want to take my staff up there, new staff that has come in, and we want to show them the site." So it's always a pleasure to be able to do.
How cool is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about the significance of the site. Talk to us give us some things maybe we forget about, or maybe some of those that are listening don't even know.
Okay, so just a little bit of the history. Of course, the Battle of San Jacinto, April 21st, 1836. That was the last battle of the Texas Revolution. Everyone remembers the Alamo. March 6th, it had fallen. The men at Goliad down at Fort Defiance, La Bahia, they were executed at the end of March. So both armies were making their way to this area. The Mexican army, Santa Anna and his army, they were pretty much chasing Sam Houston and his ragtag army. At that point, he didn't have
much, right?
what's that?
Almost a militia, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much a militia. They were trying to stay one step ahead of Santa Anna. Santa Anna started getting a little cocky. He heard that the Texas government was headed towards New Washington, which is present-day Morgan's Point. He decided to split up his army, take a smaller force with them to try to cut them off. In the meantime, Sam Houston caught wind of this and said, "Oh, we've got to make our way down there as well. We'll cut them off at Lynchburg's Ferry." And so it just happened that both armies arrived on April 20th, the day before the battle, at the site. And so April 20th, there was a small skirmish. They were trying to feel each other out. April 21st comes along. Back then, if an attack wasn't made first thing in the morning, then you really weren't expecting anything. Mexican army had been up all night. They knew that Sam Houston probably would attack, so they built fortifications. They were building barricade to breastworks to make sure that if an attack came, that they would be well protected. They had marsh area behind them. Sam Houston was their camp was located along the banks of the Buffalo Bayou. And so morning of April 21st came, no attack. The Mexican army did receive reinforcements overnight of about 500 soldiers.
Wow.
So the day before, Sam Houston had the advantage. They had about 930 soldiers with him. Santa Anna had come into the site with about 750. So with those additional forces, that turned the advantage to Santa Anna and his men. And Sam Houston saw that these men had come in. But these men arrived after marching all night. So they were tired. You had Sam Houston and his guys, they got a good night's rest. They were ready to fight, but they got a good night's rest. So afternoon comes on April 21st, still no attack. Santa Anna says, well, again, first thing in the morning, they didn't attack. I don't expect an attack to come in. So between the men that were building these breastworks all night, the men who had come and marched in, they were all tired. They hadn't eaten. So they started to relax a little. Some of them started, they were given permission to go ahead and get some rest. 3:30 comes along, and Sam Houston decides to start the advance and make their way to the Mexican camp. You've got roughly about a mile's worth of distance between the Texian and the Mexican camps, and it took roughly an hour to make their way. And of course, they had two cannons with them, the twin sisters. They had to make that San Jacinto advance. About 4:30, the first shots were fired, and within 18 minutes, the battle had concluded. It was a quick battle. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. That is one thing that some people know. But yes, 18 minutes, but for them to take over the camp. But the Texians were seeking revenge. They had been on the retreat the entire time. They were looking for a fight. When the attack did come, most of the Mexicans started to just scatter and retreat because, of course, Napoleonic military warfare at that time. You needed the officers to give them the orders, to line up and to fire and everything. Everything was just chaos. So with no real leadership, they started to scatter. And so, yes, 18 minutes, but the Texians just kept on chasing them, hunting them down. Again, they wanted revenge for what happened at the Alamo and at La Bahia.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So it's just so easy to forget what goes into that stuff. I mean, imagine you said they got a good night's sleep. I don't know if I would get a good night.
yeah.
All right.
Well, Sam Houston got a good night's sleep.
I guess we're gonna get up in the morning and go to battle.
Yeah.
He
was fairly confident.
It's just crazy to think about that.
Yeah,
Mindset perspective. Like it just doesn't jive. Like we get up in the morning and go to work, and I'm like, I'm gonna go battle for the day. I
Yeah, they
battle traffic. You know?
A lot. You gotta remember, too, the revenge on their mind, right?
Oh, 100%.
They were ready. Like,
This is his family. This is
exactly.
right.
this is our land. We're gonna.
Well, yeah. So I guess it's totally different level of motivation, right? We just again, like I said, we take it for granted because we just live in it's almost 200 years later, right?
Yeah.
The whole world is just a different thing. It's just it's beautiful here. Like I'm in my mind going, I'm going to grab my daughter. We're going down there. Because I just want to remind her, like, we're going down there. We're going to talk about what really goes into that stuff, because history is something that all the veterans, all the folks that serve our nation, it's almost like sometimes we can just move about our day without really embedding into our children and letting them understand the amount of sacrifice that goes in because we just take it for granted. This port,
Exactly.
right? All the region, everything that we do, the billions of dollars that flows through here was built on some guys that said, not in our house.
Yeah.
We're taking it back. Right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's amazing.
So
Go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, so the next day, it wasn't until the 22nd that Santa Anna, he had fled through the battle. He just hightailed it out of there. The cavalry.
They wouldn't found it.
They did. They had scouts that were out looking for others that had scattered about, and they came upon a soldier about 8 miles from the battlefield, 8 miles to the west, where the Washburn Tunnel is located. Came upon a soldier. He was hiding in the grass. That area was known as Vince's Bayou. As a matter of fact, Sam Houston's scout, Dave Smith, he had burned that bridge down. He had destroyed that bridge because Sam Houston didn't want any chance of anyone to retreat. It was pretty much, we're meeting here. We're going to fight here.
Oh, hey.
So he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to make his way across the bayou. And the Texian soldiers came up to him, captured him, brought him back. And he was just dressed as a normal soldier. It wasn't until he made his way into the camp with the other soldiers, the soldiers noticed him and they started standing and saying, General Santana, or El Presidente.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of called him out.
Oops.
The Texian soldiers noticed this and then took him before Sam Houston. And that's when they had their discussion.
Can you imagine to go like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Go back.
No.
That's not.
That's my brother.
Like coming to America.
Yeah.
Your Highness. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, geez. Wow. So you mentioned a lot of these tours going through. I'm sorry, I know we need to jump into some other things from the agenda, but gosh, the story's so cool.
Yeah, we could talk forever.
Yeah. So, how many chances on a given week do you guys get a chance to still step into this and share these stories? I mean, I know you're running the organization, but it sounds like
it is a little bit difficult.
Okay.
It is a little difficult.
Okay.
I'll give you a little story about my the previous director, who was kind of a mentor to me, Larry Spasic.
Okay.
We would be busy with, we have fundraising dinners, these events, the celebrations and such. We would be busy working on something, and both of us are running back and forth between our offices and running through the gallery, trying to meet a deadline. And all of a sudden he would stop and see a couple of visitors and say, "Hey, good morning. Where are you visiting from?" And start talking to them. And then it wasn't until I came into this position that I realized the reason he did that was because that was one way for him to kind of step back, back to what he loved and being able to share history and be able to interact with our visitors.
Oh, yeah.
So
I could tell you.
Yeah. So now I remember to do that. And if I'm running around and I've got a deadline, I'll run to the gallery. If I see someone, I'll stop and do that as well.
So talk to us about some of the cool displays that we might see if we were to go into the museum.
Yeah, what's still there? The monument is obviously the big beacon, right?
Correct.
What, of all the site, what's there? What can people see?
Yeah, the San Jacinto Museum houses a collection of roughly 18,000 artifacts.
Wow.
Now, of course, we don't have the room to show everything. I would guess that we have less than 0.03% of our items out on display. Some of those items include artifacts that were there at the battle itself, Right now, we have a lobby exhibit called Blades of Texas, and we've got a knife that was used in the battle, a couple of swords that were carried on the field. We also have other artifacts, a lot of Santa Anna's personal, effects that he had just left behind. The Texian soldiers kind of grabbed those and they started auctioning them off. And so we have some of those, for example, a knee buckle that belonged to Sam Houston, one of his gloves, martingale from his horse. So lots of different, artifacts that were actually there. Another interesting piece that I always like to call out is Sam Houston's honor ring. When he went off to war during the War of 1812, he wasn't old enough to enlist. He had to have his mother's permission. And as he went off to war, she gave him this ring that had the inscription "honor" on the inside. Mm-hmm. And she said, "This is something that you should always strive to live by."
Wow.
And so he wore that ring for the next 50 years. So he had it with him at the battle itself. He had it when he was in Washington, and he had it till the day he died. Yeah.
Wow.
Are we still discovering things on the battlefield? Are there artifacts or excavation things that we're doing? I mean, I assume that land can flood.
Yeah, exactly.
Things, but
I want to say the last archaeological dig that took place was within the past 10, 15 years. And yes, we still find artifacts out.
Sure, and these layers of stuff. There's got to be things.
Yeah, I know this is something more for a future podcast, but we're going to be doing a lot of work out there in the next few years. We received $142 million from the 23 legislative session. So we're going to be doing some needed deferred maintenance to the monument itself, building a new visitor center. But that also includes a master plan to really bring the site, the battlefield, to its 1836 state. So you're going to be able to walk down the paths that, again, during that San Jacinto advance that afternoon, you're going to be able to walk the paths that the soldiers did. So I was on your way to the Mexican camp. So that's something that we've got lined up again, something that we could come in and discuss whenever plans a little bit more detail.
Just give us a heads up swing there.
I'm laughing too, and as I'm thinking through this whole deal, because just the difference between whatever boys and girls and men and women, right? Like we're all like the camp that they walk through before they fight. Yeah. Like I know when I take my daughter, she'll be like,
yeah, okay.
Okay, Dad. Like how do I TikTok this? Hey, Dad, can I stick the phone over there and then do a dance in front of it? I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
You don't understand. This is where the fight went down.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting that you bring up TikTok because one of the things is, we need to really be able to engage with the younger crowd, correct?
Right.
So right now we've got interpretive signing out at the different camps, but imagine being able to go out to the Mexican camp. And again, you go out there, you see the sign, this is where the Mexican camp, this is where the Texian camp. You can't really get that vision of how much space they took up, how many men were out there,
Right.
So we're looking into being able to do some kind of augmented,
like Pokemon thing.
Right.
So as you pan out to the site, you see the 1,000.
Wow, how cool would that be? Yeah.
About kids
see them walking around. That's, something that we would love to do. And again, to bring us into the 21st century.
Of course.
Well, let's do this. Like I said, I was I'm probably showing way too much excitement.
No, I love it.
Let's keep talking about it. Let's look at
other events
coming up, right? So
big special event.
Talk to us about that.
Yes.
We got to make sure we get it out before that. So,
correct.
Yeah, we want people to hear about it.
The 2025 San Jacinto Day celebration and reenactment. It's going to be this year on April 26th.
Okay.
From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have a reenactment. Actually, we have two reenactments that day. It's going to be the same thing, but what we've done is made it easier. If you want to come out and view that, it's going to be at 11 a.m. and at 2 p.m. And each reenactment is pretty much 4 vignettes. You're going to have a depiction of the runaway scrape. That was the fleeing of the civilians as the Mexican army was advancing. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the April 20th skirmish. And then you're going to have the Battle of San Jacinto that happened on April 21st. And then the fourth vignette is going to be the surrender of Santa Anna.
Wow.
So again, we give you the opportunity to come out in the morning, watch that, participate with the other activities that we have on the grounds. So besides the reenactments, we also have living history demonstrations.
Okay.
So we have volunteers, we have reenactors, we have some of our educators and interpreters out there doing different activities, and this is going to be for all ages. So anything from learning how to drill and march with the Texian Army to cartridge making, ink and quill. You had orders that needed to be sent out, so
Yeah.
we give you that ink and quill to practice your writing skills there. And then we have more of a civilian side. Maybe I believe, I'm not too sure if we're going to have it this year, but I'll go ahead and mention it. How were clothes washed back then? How were things kept clean? And so we try to focus on the military and civilian side. We have those activities. Then we have what's called the Road to San Jacinto. We'll have representatives from different historic sites, San Felipe de Austin, Washington on the Brazos, the Alamo. They're there during this walk through the time frame to explain what their part in the Texas Revolution was. And so again, interactive for all ages. You get to go out and visit the Mexican and Texian camps and talk to them as they were preparing for battle.
And then with the people that are participating in the reenactments and all that stuff, are these just volunteers that want to be a part of that?
Yes.
How do you become a volunteer if you want to be part of the reenactment?
So we,
So he's like, hey, Sam used to roll open. I'm in.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they're always needing help. You've got these Texas Army, Texas volunteers that are love to do this, and they come from all over the state. You've got some guys that come down from the valley just to from the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo, to participate.
I've heard like reenactments.
Yeah,
That's cool.
these guys are hardcore.
Yeah.
And when this is all their personal equipment and clothing, and so that's another thing. They love it.
That's so cool.
So we try to, of course, help them out as much as we can, giving them. A lot of them will go full blown and want to camp outside and set up the camps for 2 or 3 days before the event.
And y'all let them do it?
Oh yeah, we do.
That's so cool.
One thing that I didn't mention, the reason that they're out there for several days prior is because we have a special school day on the Friday before the reenactment. And what that allows us to do is to have our local school groups, LaPorte, Deer Park, Pasadena, come out. It's pretty much the same event without all the food vendors, the market vendors, and the actual reenactment. It's more of the road to San Jacinto. You get to go in and do some of the living history programming and talk to the reenactors. So
so cool.
There are lots of things to do for everyone.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to make sure we capture that we didn't capture today?
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to mention that inside in the museum itself, we have a lecture series. So we're going to have 4 renowned authors and scholars giving a 30-minute presentation, a session on different topics, not only with the Texas Revolution, but events that shaped Texas.
And this is on the 26th.
This is also on the 26th. Yeah.
So it's an all day.
If we didn't have enough to do, we wanted to add something else. And this is something we just started last year.
Okay, cool.
And I'll tell you what, it instantly became very popular because we had the theater that we house it in is 160 seats, 160. We had over 100 each session. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So if you were to estimate how many people will come through on the 26th?
On the 26th, 5,000 to 6,000 will come out to the site.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sweet.
We estimate that between San Jacinto Day celebration, the school day, and then on the 21st is the actual official ceremony that is held each year on the base of the steps of the monument. So, so we estimate, about 8,000.
Go get you some breakfast at Monument Inn. And then
I love Texas.
Yeah.
I just, I love our state. It's so cool.
David, I'm from Baytown, so I from my whole life.
So boys, so good. Awesome. Well, thank you for the share, David. Thank you for your heart for what you do, man.
Yeah,
I have to say, just such
a pleasure,
such a critical thing and so important. So for our audience, again, What a fun episode today. We always say pay it forward, but this is one of those episodes that you really do need to go pay it forward. Put it in the hands of somebody who needs to hear it. Get your kids, grab your family, go down and be a part of Texas history on April 26th. It's going to be a great day, great experience. As you were talking, I was playing through my head with my calendar going, okay, I've got to figure out a way to get my family there.
Yeah,
You have to.
baseball. Yeah, same.
Yeah, so we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna gain independence from all the other crap that's on our calendar and go down there and celebrate.
And if you don't mind me saying, if you can't make it out, you can still come visit us throughout the year.
Yeah, the rest of the year. Yeah. Of course.
Because again, we've got something scheduled. As a matter of fact, you can go to our website. You can go to visit sanjacinto.com or San Jacinto Museum. You can do a search for that. And we've got our schedule with the different programs that we have throughout the month,
No, fantastic.
throughout the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for plugging that. Fantastic. So again, as always, we just want you to stay connected, and we will always stay focused on the growth and the things that are happening in our region. Such a gift today to be able to take a pause and reflect on where it all came from, so that we don't lose sight of that. So if you're so do that today, pause, just think, hey man, when you're driving down 225 or I-10 and you look over, just remember it all started from somewhere, for some people who laid down their life for our country and for our great state. It's such a beautiful thing. So it's something for us to be humble and grateful for. If you have any questions, you want to stay plugged in, you have referrals or people you'd like to discuss bringing on the show, feel free to reach out to myself and Zeke Smith on LinkedIn. That's the easiest place to find us. And we just appreciate you being phenomenal as part of our region. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week.